What's going on, guys? In this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how I would hit 10K a month if I had to start over. Now, I'm making this video really to serve my old self. Like if this was me watching this video 2-3 years ago, I would have really enjoyed it because it would have given me the clarity on exactly what I needed to do. At this point in my business career, I've built multiple businesses that have crossed that 10K a month mark. One offer, which I recently launched, it did it well within the first 30 days. And so I'm not here to tell you that if you're a complete beginner, you could hit it within 30 days. That's actually the wrong mentality to have. But what I will explain to you in this video is that what are the necessary inputs required to get the outcome of 10K a month? Because one of the biggest problems I made starting off was I put the goal of 10K a month on a pedestal, right? It was this mythical number that was super out of reach, and really what I was telling myself was that I wasn't worthy of hitting it. But the truth is that if you could provide adequate value to the marketplace and have a step-by-step process that you could reverse engineer to know what do I need to be doing on a daily basis, how many leads do I need to be getting, how many sales calls do I need to be booking, how many clients do I need to be acquiring to hit that 10K a month, anybody could do it, right? Whether it takes you 2, 3, 6 months. For me, it took me a year to hit my first 10K a month, but it's also because I didn't know the stuff that I'm covering in this video. So with that being said, what I'm gonna break down right now are what are the two separate paths that you can go down based on your skill set. Because as much as these gurus and YouTubers out here that you're watching, that you're just doom watching, they will try to sell you some model that's the mythical model that's gonna get you there as soon as humanly possible. The truth is that there's different business models, there's different inputs you need to do based on your past skill set, based on your experience, and the amount of value that you could provide to the market. Okay, so with all of that being said, guys, let's dive straight into it. I'm gonna pull up a Miro board here, take out some notes, and then after watching this video, get off of YouTube and just start taking action, okay? So let's dive straight in. All right, guys, so here's what I mean by having really two different paths to go down to hit 10K a month profit as soon as humanly possible. So if you're starting from complete zero, absolute beginner, I recommend doing the same thing I did, which is starting an agency. Right? So starting an SMMA, so this is literally zero experience and zero money making skills. And I'll explain what this means here in a second. But if you're starting from zero, you really have no baseline, nothing you could already really help people with. I honestly think that the easiest thing that you could pick up is learning the skills required to run an agency. And that leads me to the other path, which I recommend in a second here. It's coaching/info. So this is if you do have a money-making skill. So there's two different routes to go down. On the one hand, we have SMMA. So if you're a complete beginner, I recommend that you get started with an agency. And then if you have a money-making skill, what's a money-making skill? Well, it's sales, appointment setting, right, which is also sales. So this is like high ticket sales closer, like you've done that. It could be copy, right, copywriting. It could be having experience with an agency already and maybe growing it. These are all examples, drop shipping and that type of thing. These are all examples of different money-making skills that if you have, you could teach others and get to 10K a month very quickly with. So on this side with SMMA, what do you need to do in order to build the baseline foundation? How could you spend 1 week to learn the required skills to go and sell your service? Well, I mean, where I would definitely start is read $100 million Leads by Hormozi. Because in there, he has a complete section on how to learn paid ads. And same thing I did was I watched YouTube videos. So if you already know the niche that you're going to be going after, whether it's landscapers, realtors, that type of thing, you could go and find endless YouTube videos on how people have done an agency and the whole service delivery that they actually did for their niche. So you could go and find these people, you could funnel hack them, see their clients' ads, and really see what's working for other people. And then eventually, after you have clients and you have results, you could put your own twist onto it, right? So read $100 million Leads by Hormozi. Now, if you've never coached or consulted or sold info to anybody before, my recommended read, which helped me start this business as well, it's a book called Wealthy Consultant by Taylor Welch. I believe that's how you spell his last name, Welch. Maybe there's no T in there, but you get the idea. This book helped me a lot with actually packaging up your skills and everything that you've learned, and being able to teach others and build an actual infrastructure in order to deliver your service, right? Your coaching service. So this alone, guys, this is how you set the actual baseline foundational skills that you need. With this being said, again, we're going to be diving into the numbers, right? So on the SMMA side, you've read $100 Million Leads by Hormozi. You understand how paid ads work. You've watched YouTube videos for your niche. You now need to build your offer, right? So if you're offering Facebook ads or Google ads, it's going to be very competitive, very hard to stand out if you're working in a saturated niche, right? I worked with realtors. It was very, very hard to stand out when I started off. But when I introduced a good offer, and a good offer includes a unique mechanism. So I was offering the same funnel that everybody else in the real estate space was offering, but I just put a twist onto my words in terms of how I packaged the whole thing up, so that realtors were actually interested. Because if you're working in a saturated niche and you say to people, hey, I could run your Facebook ads, dude, you could send so much outreach and it'll work, but it's so hard because people have been burned before, they've tried it before, and they're opposed to the idea, right? So if you put a unique mechanism to your actual offer, that's how you'll stand out. An example for me in my Facebook ads agency, my unique offer was using landing pages, and then I put a unique spin on it. So I talked about the actual benefit to using landing pages in my outreach pitch. So I didn't even mention Facebook ads, but I mentioned the benefit of using landing pages in a funnel and what that could result for the realtor, if that makes sense. Okay. So this is the baseline that you need. You need to craft and offer a unique mechanism. You need to understand what you're going to be selling to people. And this is how you'll be able to get started with just blitzing your way to scale to 10K a month as soon as possible. And this, guys, this can all be done in 1 week. Like, I don't want to hear that you're spending 2-3 months on it. You're binging YouTube videos forever. You're never going to see success. Your bank account's not going to change. So you just need to set this foundation as soon as humanly possible. With this being said, let's dive into the numbers. So how are you going to send outreach? How are you going to get people interested in your advertising services? So I've done a lot of outreach. I've built outreach teams. I've done the whole 9 yards. And this first place really that you're going to start is sending outreach manually. Especially if you don't have money. If you do have money on hand, you could already hire VAs to kind of build this out for you. So what you could do is you could use multiple websites online to buy 5 Instagram accounts. Okay. So once you have 5 Instagram accounts, what you're going to do is you're going to send really about 40 DMs per account. That's kind of the baseline I found, because any more than that, you can get banned. And I'll go over the messaging sequence in a second here. But if you're able to do this, I mean, you're going to be sending a good amount of outreach on your own. Now, it's going to be time consuming. I don't want to hear excuses. You want 10K a month to enter your bank account, right? So, I mean, this alone, we're sending 200, and this is per day, DMs per day. And let's break down the numbers here. Right? So you bought 5 Instagram accounts, you have some posts up of yourself. I've done this with accounts that literally just had pictures of my face, wasn't providing any value. But I do recommend you do that to get warmer leads. But I was sending 200 DMs per day and I was crushing it. And here's the metrics on how. So there's a DM sequence that you want to follow to get leads coming in consistently. Okay? And this is what I did myself. And I'll give you the framework here. DM 1 is really a simple question. So that could be, are you taking on any new clients right now? What do you really offer? You want to come up with a simple question that chiropractors, realtors, anybody could answer, right? Because you want to get out of the message request folder on Instagram. And that's a really good way to do it. It's just by answering or asking a simple question. And then once the lead actually responds to it, then we can go into DM 2, which is pitching value, aka a VSL. See, a lot of people mess up here. A lot of people will try to pitch a call. And the problem with that is that you haven't provided any value. What you want to do, there's something called the law of reciprocity. If you go to a chiropractor and just go for an ask and say, hey, would you mind getting on a 30-minute meeting with me? I believe I could help you grow your business. The chances that you send 200 DMs per day, of course it's going to happen, but it's so low. It's not optimal, right? And so instead, what we want to do is we want to reciprocate value. So you want to give them value. You want to say, hey, I have this thing that's going to help you do X, Y, and Z, and I want to give it to you for free. They accept that thing, and now they will be more inclined and more open to actually hearing out your pitch, okay? So you want to pitch value in a very simple way, and you just want to structure your VSL as a video that solves a specific problem that they're facing. So for chiropractors, let's say that they're just not getting enough leads, or the leads they're getting aren't high quality, something along those lines. You want to package your VSL as the solution, as the pill that they can consume to fix that problem right away. And you need to make sure that in your VSL, you actually deliver on this. Again, why it's important to have a very strong foundation to your business by understanding what you're actually doing, right? Understanding your niche, understanding the problems that they're dealing with. And so in DM2, you could structure it in a way that says, I have this, very simple video that's going to show you how you can get an extra 200 leads by the end of the month by running this simple, and then you could call it whatever funnel, right? By running the simple chiropractor, I don't know, I don't work with chiropractors, right? But for realtors, it could be, here's how you could run this simple listing attracting funnel to get an extra 2 deals next month. Can I send it over completely for free? Mind if I send it over? That's an example, right? And that's how you would structure your VSL. And then it should be a simple yes, it should be a no-brainer. They should read that and then they should be like, yeah, sure, send it over. And then what you could do after that is you could do a couple of options. You could collect email and then send it to their email, and then you build an email list. You could ask for their phone number, collect numbers, so then you could dial them and set appointments that way, or you could just send it in the DMs, and then make sure that you continue conversation. Because just sending the VSL alone isn't enough, right? So if you're going to send it to them in the DMs, of course they could auto book on your VSL, but it's important that you follow it up with a separate question and then try to get that appointment set over the DMs. Try to get appointments set if you're collecting emails in your email list. Try to get appointments set over the phone if you're able to collect their phone number or just scrape their phone number somewhere, right? That's the most important part. So really, this is just sending the asset. And let's dive into some numbers here. So from your outreach, if you're sending 200 DMs per day, your DM sequence should get a 5% positive response rate. Okay? So what does this mean? This means that you'll be getting 10 leads per day if 5% positively respond, right? Now, this will lead to 10 leads per day. So these are 10 people that are open to watching your VSL. So if we're looking over the span of a month here, if we're trying to hit 10K a month, these are the numbers behind it. So if we're getting 10 leads per day, and let's say that we're only sending these on weekdays, that's 50 leads a week times 4 weeks. We're going to be getting, right, 200 leads per day. Per month. Now, with 200 leads per month, here's what we're going to be doing. And let me just make sure these numbers check out so I'm not crazy. 200 leads per month. Now it comes down to your appointment setting process. So one philosophy I follow is very simple. Every system, this is what I'm showing you is a client acquisition system. Every client acquisition system will continue to grow until it reaches a constraint or a bottleneck within the process itself. So if the bottleneck, there's different bottlenecks you can run into. One is you're just not sending enough. So that bottleneck would be right here. If you're only sending 30 per day, you're not going to hit 10K a month. Bottleneck 2 could be positive, we'll just call it PRR, right? Positive response rate. It's not good enough. So maybe it's 1%, not going to hit 10K a month based on the metrics that I'm trying to break down for you. Another constraint we can run into is setting rate. So what are the percentage of leads that are actually getting booked into an appointment? Well, from the VSL that you're going to send them, you could make this on a landing page and have a call to action to actually book a call. And when you do it like this, you should be getting, at least 10% auto books. So that means 10% of all the leads that watch your VSL should book into an appointment, right? So if we do this correctly, that means that here alone, we're getting 20 calls a month. That's 20 sales calls a month. There's a couple different factors that come into play now, but this is not including your email list with call to actions to book a call. That's going to get even more. Or excuse me, I'm pointing at phone number here. Your email list, phone number, dial leads. This is personally what I use in my agency, and I was able to get about 15% of leads that I was dialing to turn into an appointment. You could continue the conversation in the DMs and turn, hopefully, 15% of those DM conversations into appointments. So whatever method it is here, try to aim for 15, maybe 10 extra percent to turn into appointments. But let's say that with this alone, just getting auto booked people, we start with just going from day to day, 200 DMs per day. That's going to be 10 leads a day, right? Stick with me. That's 200 leads per month, right? And that would also be, just so you guys know all the numbers we're looking at, 4,000. I'm going all over here from day to 30 days, but it would be 4K DMs per month if my math checks out, right? 200 DMs per day times 5 days a week times 4 weeks equals 4,000 DMs per month. So that's how many DMs you're going to be sending. You're going to be getting 200 leads a day, 10 leads a day. Over a month, it's 200 leads a month, right? I'm right here. Now with 200 leads a month, from just sending them your VSL, you should get about 10% of leads to auto book into a sales call if your VSL is done correctly. So we have 20 sales calls a month. Now let's break it down with just this. This is not including the extra 10, 20 sales calls you can get from calling, emailing, and continuing to DM these prospects. Let's just say from your VSL, you got 20 sales calls a month. Now, the next constraint we could run into is show rate. And I'm going to be giving you guys some sauce here in a second, so just watch out. So with 20 sales calls a month, you could expect, from a cold outreach funnel, 50% show rate is honestly like as low as we want to be. Show rate isn't the best. If you've sent outreach before and have done this, you understand that that's usually a sticking point. And I'll show you the following constraint, which we'll get into, which is closing rate. And the one fix that I found, this is the biggest problem with cold outreach, is show rate and closing rate, because the leads are not warm enough. Because in any funnel, looks like a pyramid, you have top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. And the problem with gurus teaching you how to send outreach is that they get the top of funnel right, which is ripping DMs, sending VSLs, but they miss the middle funnel. They try to go straight from the outreach to a sales call, and it doesn't work that way, because the middle of funnel is the appointment setting, aka the nurturing mechanism that gets these leads interested in your pitch to like, know, and trust you. Nobody does business with people they don't like. That's a lesson I learned the hard way. So you need to dial in your middle funnel, and that's what people don't realize. So in order to do this, we use the most leveraged thing in the world, which is content. And I recommend a YouTube channel, literally providing value and showing that you actually know what the hell you're talking about for your prospects. And this is something that nurtures them, that improves show rate, something you send them in between you booking the call and the time of the actual appointment. So with the YouTube channel in place, with content that actually warms up people, you could get to a predictable 60-70% show rate, right? So let's say we had a 70% show rate here. This will equal 14 actual calls a month. And our closing rate, if you didn't have a channel, if you didn't have content posted, very cold sales calls, I mean, you could get like a 10% closing rate. And I went through a period of that. And I thought just consuming Jeremy Miner stuff and NEPQ was going to save me. And it improved it a little bit. But when I introduced content, a YouTube channel, really nurtured them, really broke their beliefs with my VSL, I was able to get this up to a 30% from a cold outreach funnel, which is pretty impressive. So that alone is 4 clients a month. And if you went with a typical pricing model, right, of charging $1,000 a month, you would only make $4 grand. $4 grand that month. But something people don't tell you is that if you want to hit 10K a month, you need, like, focus on collecting cash. You don't need monthly retainers right now. What you need is 10 grand hitting your bank that you could go and spend on hiring people to automate your outreach, to automate your appointment setting, to actually improve your service delivery, to invest into mentors, right? And so this is what I did. This is a hack, guy. Like, this is top tier hack, is you want to collect more money up front. So this could be a 3-month, 6-month, 1-year contract for your services that now you could sell for 3, 5, 10K up front, right? So this changes the game, because if we're getting 4 clients a month now and we're charging 3K up front, oops, that is $12,000 hitting your bank account this month. So that's just on this side, just estimate. We haven't even hit coaching info yet. This is the entire process to get you to $12,000 in a single month, right? From outreach, I literally broke down all the numbers here, and I showed you everything you need to do. These are the numbers behind it, guys. So if you're starting from 0, it's simple. It's not easy, right? You're going to reach constraints in your process. But now let's move on to coaching and info, and I could show you what this would look like. So if your experience is sales, setting, copy, SMMA, dropshipping, if you have something that you've done before that's made you money, you could teach others this model and you can make a ton of profit. And this is personally what I'm using to get to 7 figures a year in profit, guys. This is some of the most profitable models you could do. Alex Becker, founder of Hyros, one of my mentors, just by watching his stuff, you should go check him out, literally says that you want to learn a skill. My writing's awful right now. Learn a skill for 6 months and then burn it down and teach others the skill. If you guys don't know Alex Becker, he sold his company last year for $110 million. So if you're not going to listen to me, at least listen to him, because he said this. And it's so true, because teaching others the skill, teaching others something that's going to make them money, provides you with a model that's going to make you even way more money, right? And so how do we actually go about this? So you read The Wealthy Consultant, you looked into Alex Becker, you have your skill. How are we actually going to get clients? Well, what I'm doing is I'm using a combo of YouTube and IG to actually acquire clients. Now, YouTube is the most powerful platform in the world to acquire clients and to nurture an audience. And so you don't need a huge audience. I have a buddy that got, I think, 600 views on a YouTube video and made 6 figures from that video alone. Because if you think about it, of those 600 people, let's say that 10 of them were actually prospects that are qualified. He only needed 600 views, and a small portion of those views turned into clients that paid him 10 grand, right? And so let's break down what it actually looks like to do this. So the first thing you need to understand is a limiting belief. There are people out there that want to pay you. It's another funny story from one of my clients right now that's teaching others copywriting. He thought that nobody is like him, right? Because when you're teaching coaching, consulting, and info, what you're selling is the solution to a previous version of yourself. Example, if you went from 0 to 10K a month in sales, your coaching program is helping people at 0 or at 2, 3, 4K a month get to 10K a month. And so you're selling to a previous version of you because you were here. And there are other people like you. And you just need to attract them through YouTube and Instagram. And the way that it works, the numbers behind it. YouTube is a very interesting equation. And I'm going to pull up a photo right here that's going to explain this very well. All right, so hopefully you guys see this here. This is a little diagram I got from Twitter. This is not my own. This is from, I believe, Patty Galloway. He's a consultant to some of the biggest YouTube creators in the world. Think Mr. Beast and people like that. He actually helps them create their content and teaches them how to do it. And it's just this graph where here on the left we have confidence and we have knowledge here on the right. And the graph goes very simple. The more, when you have a little bit of knowledge, your confidence is extremely high and you think you're a YouTube god, right? And as you start to learn more about YouTube and the algorithm and how videos hit, your confidence tanks because your views aren't where they want to be and you're all upset and you think YouTube's rigged, right? But then you go all the way and actually learn YouTube and you understand that YouTube is hard but fair. And your confidence is now back up. And you understand that if you do the necessary inputs, if you make the correct thumbnails, if you make the engaging titles, if you really play feedback loops off of other videos in your space that did very well, and you have entertaining and valuable videos as the actual content, you can predictably get views and get clients from it. A lot of people don't like having to rely on organic, so that's fine. But it's totally an option. Right? So you can just go hard on YouTube to attract all your clients and then also funnel them to IG to get to know you more through stories, right? IG stories are one of the best things that you could do. And also to DM you, because that's the one downside of YouTube is there is no DM feature, right? Another option you could do is you could run ads to do this. So back to the YouTube stuff. If you were to upload 2 videos a week, this is the necessary input to sell your coaching, right? You uploaded 2 YouTube videos a week, and let's say you got 500 views each. So that's 1,000 views. Just completely. 1,000 views per week. Now, if these people viewing your content are actually qualified prospects, right? You're very niche in your titling and you're really attracting the type of people that you're trying to serve. It's not crazy to assume that at least a couple of these people would be open to booking a call with you, right? I get a couple of sales calls booked every day doing this. And so this is basically what I want to tell you. If you could predictably get at least 1,000 views on YouTube a week, you could get a couple sales calls from it. And so it's not crazy volume like the previous model I just showed you, but there's no hotter calls in the world than from YouTube. Because if somebody comes from their YouTube, they're aligned with your beliefs, they like who you are, they know you intimately, and they just want to work with you. So these really are just enrollment calls. Like, they aren't sales calls. And so if you get just a couple of these a week, you could hit 10K a month so quick. And depending on your skill, you could package up an offer and sell it for $5,000. You could sell this for $5,000 for a 3, maybe 4 month program. And you could offer literally just one-on-one coaching weekly, starting off until you get like your first 10 clients. And what you're selling is the A to B transformation. So you're selling the A to B from a previous version of you. So again, if we're talking about sales here, you're selling people that are at $0, they're in college, whatever, and you're helping them get to 10K a month and drop out, right? Like if that's what you want to help people with. And maybe this is you, like this was a version of you. So you're selling one-on-one coaching and you are the vehicle that's going to help them get from 0 to 10K a month. Very, very simple. And you could sell this for $5,000 because you've done it yourself and you could help them do it, right? And so from 1,000 views a week, if you could get at least 2 sales calls a week from it, just for my numbers alone, I mean, you're only looking at 8 sales calls a month. Show rate should be at least 90%, right? Because they're just so hot. So 8 actual calls a month. And again, they auto book this, right? At least 7 actual sales calls that show a month. And then closing rate should literally be, what the heck? Closing rate should actually be like 60 to 70%. Like no joke. It's probably higher. So if you got 7 calls a month, that's not a lot of time. Talk about leverage, right? If you got 7 calls a month and close 70%, that'd be 4.9. So let's call it 4 clients. 4 coaching clients a month. And if you're selling this for 5K, that's 20K profit, bro. This is profit. This is all hitting your bank account, and all that you have to do to fulfill is maybe 2 Zoom calls a week. Tell me a more profitable, scalable, enjoyable, fulfilling model where you're transforming the lives of people that were your previous self. You can't find it. You can't find it. And so this is how I use YouTube alone. Another thing, like if you're not naturally gifted at YouTube and you don't want to put in the time, effort, and work into actually getting good at it and making really good videos, you could also run ads on Instagram. You could run follower ads. I can make a whole separate video for that because we'll be going here for an hour and something. But that's the idea, guys. There's 2 paths you have to take. And I literally showed you. I took both of these paths already. You have the SMMA, you have the coaching and info route, and hopefully you've gotten a lot of value from this video already. But again, if you're just starting with an agency, 0 experience, 0 money-making skills, read $100 Million Leads by Hermosi and watch YouTube videos to actually get good at your service and funnel hack competitors. If you're doing coaching, consulting, selling info, you have a money-making skill, read Wealthy Consultant by Taylor Welch and really understand that there's people like you, that there's people like a previous version of yourself that want to pay you to get there quicker. You need to understand that. Understand what Alex Becker said, learn a skill for 6 months, and then teach others the skill. With this over here, make sure that you create a unique offer because it is competitive and have a unique mechanism attached to it. And then with SMMA, you want to get a bunch of IG accounts. You want to send 40 DMs a day per account. And with that, you're sending 4,000 DMs a month. You're getting 200 leads a month. You're getting 20 sales calls a month. You're getting 70% show rate. So that's 14 calls a month, closing at 30%. 4 clients a month with my unique pricing model, the hack, selling it for 3K for a 12 month package. You are cashing out at 12K for the month. On this side of things, the funnel's simple. If you can just get good at YouTube, guys, you could have the most leveraged lifestyle in the world. You could spend a couple of hours a week actually acquiring clients, taking sales calls, and delivering your service, and you could make pure profit, money in the bank. And this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is what you would call a one-person business. Now, don't get me wrong. I outsource thumbnails and editing and, VA stuff and admin stuff, like that little stuff, of course, right? You don't want to be just yourself. But people want to pay you. A previous version of yourself is who you're selling to. If it's with sales, you could teach people how to go from 0 to 10K a month with sales. And you could use YouTube and Instagram to funnel together. Your input would be 2 YouTube videos a week. If you get at least 500 views a video, you get 1,000 views per week, And from those 1,000 people, if they're really qualified prospects and you're solving the actual pain, so you're showing people how to make money through sales, and I mean, that's your ideal client. You're going to get at least 2 people to book in if you have the proper call to actions within your description and everything like that. And from that alone, you could sell a $5,000 package. You could sell it for less, 3, 4K, whatever you feel comfortable with. And just starting off, going from 0 to 10 clients, you just offer one-on-one coaching weekly. And again, the numbers here, 2 calls a week, 8 calls a month, super high show rate, 90%, 7 calls a month, and a super high close rate. They're the hottest leads in the world. That's 20K a month in profit in your bank, and you're working very little. So, I mean, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. And really, let me know if you found this valuable, because I spent a lot of time actually crafting all the stuff that I'm showing you. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. Hope you found it valuable. Let me know below, and I'll see you in the next one.